Okay, you have made it to session three. Session three, we're going to talk about the web, the relationship dynamics. First of all, this is Vanessa Riley. I am welcoming you back to my 10-part series on how to build a character. Um, Please, if you haven't, check out my other two sessions that we've talked about from the heartbeat, the value structure, as well as that spark, that name. Who are we writing about? But this session, session three, is about web relationships, the dynamics. No story is told by just, well, actually, let me do that back. Yeah, there are stories that are told by one person. Um, but a monologue is not going to get you very far. You need someone to push this person to show different aspects of your character. So you need dialogue. You need other people in your lives. If you have a book about one character that never interacts with anybody else, it's going to be very flat. People push buttons, people poke at you, and you see different sides. And so this exercise is to say no ship sails by themselves. There are people on board, people at the dock that sent the ship out, people who fuel the ship, people who stack the ship. The ship is in the ocean momentarily by itself, but there's going to be other fish, definitely other fish in the sea. But once again, if you need to think about it. Now, sometimes you may add a character because you'll find you're missing something, but when you're starting out, this is your play box, and it matters because the stronger the relationships around, the more the story is going to resonate. You're going to see your friend, you're going to see your parents, you're going to see your siblings in this character. And you want the reader to begin to emulate and think about all the different things that are happening as a mirror to their own lives. They can't do that if you have a very flat story with no external connections. All right? So, what I want you to do is I want you to get a piece of paper or a journal. You know my journaling course. Please click the link and go see that. But you have your paper, your notepad, where you're keeping this information. Because one thing I want you to do, pro tip, build a binder of your character so you can go quickly back and take a look. Whether it's an electronic binder or a physical binder, be able to go back and research and talk about and look at and think about what was I thinking when I designed this character in this way. Okay? Now the first thing we're going to do is you're going to start by mapping the web of this character. Family relationships are the first one. Are their parents a mother and a father? Are they still living? Um, Parents can be deceased. A living parent, it always gives you that immediate kind of check in a story, or someone that they can model the lives after or live up to. And then there's always expectations. Am I pleasing my mother? Am I doing as dad taught me to do? Am I being a resilient young woman or young man? All these things come from that family structure. And the pyramid is your parents. Others along that line, if you're raised by a grandparent, what is your character's life story? There's always the tragic character whose family has all been killed off and they're left by themselves. Well, then there's found family, right? Found family are those close friends. Is there a best friend? Best friend you share secrets with. You could see best friend will call you on your mess. That is their purpose in stories. What does that look like? Are there allies? A mentor, someone who can pour into their life, a pastor who can speak to them, a boss who can talk with them and guide them. But there's always that other level. Maybe it's enemies. Maybe you don't like the boss. Maybe the boss's perspective is going to push your character into certain ways or put options that really test the values that the character is supposed to have. Either way, put them down. And once, in this first exercise, you want to exhaust your mind of all the possible kind of connections there are. And somebody could be neutral. They don't have to be good or bad. They could actually be neutral. That's things that you will determine later. But right now, let's see what our world looks like. Um, we've talked about enemies, but there's also rivals, people who are not trying to do you badly necessarily, but they're rivals, rivals for affection, rivals for a job. If I don't get the job, this other person gets the job. If I don't get this account, this other person gets the account. Or it could literally be, a rival to be the heir of a kingdom. The sky's the limit, but you need to know what that looks like. Firmly believe in taking a piece of paper, writing the name of your character in the center, and then start mapping out who's close to this person. Those bubbles go really closely around that name. They're close to their mom, but they're not to their dad. Dad's on the picture, but he may be a little further out. It might be hard to do that kind of spatial mapping the first time you do this, but get the names down. That is where we get started. And when you're writing these things down, and you feel like you got a good bubble list, right? A bubble map. Start thinking about how each person can influence your character. Remember, influence can be good or bad. Maybe they have a loser best friend who always gets them in trouble. The possibilities are endless, right? So here is our exercise. I want you to write a scene where your character is going to interact with someone they love. I want to be very short, write a paragraph. Then interact with someone they loathe. And when you're writing, think sensory. Does the smell of this person make you think of happiness or repels? The look on somebody's face, the color that that person wears. If you can mirror feelings, that's always a great way to interact. If you've got someone in kitten heels, walking a certain way, maybe that rhythm does something. So they know what's going to happen once they meet with that person face to face. A little foreshadowing, but everything you can do to layer the tension is a win for your story and a win for your character. Think body language, dialogue, emotional reactions, and the contrast between that person that is loved and the person is loathed. So one paragraph, maybe two, if you do a first wave, nice simple cut. Put them both away. Come back in an hour and then look at them again and see if you can improve. The goal is to get a full scene. Might be a meet cute. Scenes can vary in length. A scene can be as short as I think was it Stephen King? He did it one like maybe 10 words, and that was the scene because that was all that's needed. The scene length, that's the appropriate as long as it needs to be. There are such thing as too long of a scene, which means maybe you need to break this up. When I write a scene, I'm looking at what is the goal of the scene. What am I trying to get across in the scene? What is supposed to happen in this scene with this character? Why is it necessary? Pro tip: if I can say so what, so what, that's a scene that potentially can, I can't bolster it and make a way for it to be better, then it may be on the chopping block. But that's editing. We're not talking editing. We are talking getting your ideas out on paper to build a character. Lastly, when you do this, look for patterns. You know, um, do they protect certain people at all cost? Do they get frustrated easily with a rival? Think of the patterns in a larger context of the story and just kind of scribble those around your bubbles. When they see their father, they sit up a little taller, and maybe they stutter. When their boss comes in, they have a nervous habit. Quirks, another pro tip: quirks. Characters with quirks, they are a beautiful thing. Um, you don't want it too quirky unless you're writing a quirky story, but having a quirk, something that the audience knows when they see it, this is the reaction. They know this person, no matter what's coming out their mouth, is actually nervous about this meeting. Those are fun things to do. Those are extra things to do. The main thing is let's define the web that surrounds your character and begin to build their world. Once again, this is Vanessa Riley. If this has been helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you will get all of this content and know when it's coming out. Because I want to help you build better characters, better stories. Once again, this is Vanessa Riley, and stay tuned for session number 4.